if you're eating too much fast food and you want to work on that. This is something that my clients have struggled with. Well, one way that we can work on this is actually by eating fast food a little bit more regularly.
That's crazy. Why are you putting that out on the internet? Like, why are you inviting people to get McDonald's multiple times a week? What is wrong with you? What's up, guys? This is Emmy Brooklyn Baby. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a very exciting day because I am doing a deep dive on a brand new anti-diet dietitian, or an anti-diet nutritionist, rather. Before we dive in, go ahead and like this video because I know you're gonna like it. Subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed already, and do all the YouTube-y things because it really truly does help me, and I am trying to grow this motherfucker. And now that we've gotten that over with, the nutritionist that I am covering today is named Jess Baker. This is her Instagram account. She is Jess Baker Nutrition on Instagram, and she has 25,000 followers. And she describes herself as an anti-diet nutritionist. She says, overcome restriction and overeating, improve lab values, work with me. And then she has some links where you can work with her. Jess caught my attention recently because I noticed she had been stitching together a lot of other people's videos. And I started to notice that I was disagreeing with a lot of her takes. So we're going to be watching some of her reels today and some of those stitches that I mentioned and talking about them. So let's just dive right in. I can't wait.
When I was eating with the intention of being skinny, I was thinking about food all the fucking time. What am I going to have for lunch? Can I make it long enough without eating until lunchtime, or do I have to eat a low-calorie, sugar-free snack? Okay, I ate my lunch. Now it's only 30 minutes later and I'm hungry again. What the fuck am I going to do? When is dinner? Can I have another Celsius or a low-calorie snack? Or how can I distract myself from food until then? Now that I've healed my relationship with food, things are so much easier. But I have consistent energy. I'm not binging anymore. I'm literally only thinking about food when I'm actually eating or getting ready to prepare the meal. And I think about my body a lot less. Exactly what we do in Radically Nourished, my 3-month one-on-one coaching program. Send me a heart if you're struggling with having a ton of food noise, thinking about food all the time, and you just don't know what to do.
So the caption here is why you have so much food noise. Now, food noise is a term that I feel we started using really in the past few years. I had never heard the term before, but I think that it's a great term because it describes this feeling that a lot of hinge eaters feel and a lot of overweight people feel, where food is always in the back of your mind and you're always thinking about it. It's always calling out to you like a siren on the seas, and you just can never rid your mind of it. So in this reel, she is claiming that you have so much food noise because you are intentionally reducing your intake. And that's something that I've heard a lot of anti-diet dietitians say and a lot of other people in the field, but I don't personally think that's what people mean when they say that they have food noise. I think that food noise can happen for a variety of reasons, but a big reason is because people aren't properly nourishing themselves. They're eating hyper palatable food, ultra processed food. They're not really feeling satiated, and they just crave more and more of it because those foods are designed to make us crave more of it. So I think it's really a product of our food environment, in addition to being caused by different psychological issues. But I also found this real interesting because what she is describing as far as the way that she used to approach food and think about food sounds incredibly DIS ordered, and it totally tracks with what I have said before about people who become nutritionists and dietitians, how many of them have had issues on the reductive side, on the underconsumption side. What she's describing is that she would try to adhere to a really, really strict diet, a really, really low calorie intake, and it would lead to hinging, it would lead to obsessive thoughts about food. I know that that is a common experience for people who try to drastically reduce their intake to an unhealthy degree. I think it's a gross generalization to say that you will cure your food noise by quitting dieting altogether or to stop restricting all of the foods that you feel out of control around. Because I don't think that that's really what people mean most of the time when they talk about food noise. So that's just a little intro into the type of content that Jess puts out. It's very in line with the anti-diet dietitians, the fat acceptance creators, and the intuitive eating content creators. Basically, the wisdom boils down to all overconsumption and obsessive thoughts about food can be linked back to reduction, which I think is not always true. Most of the time, I actually think it's not true. On to the next one.
Girl, you know you don't always have to eat the entire thing, right?
This says, try this experiment if you always have to eat the whole thing. And it's her with a box of, it looks like cupcakes. By the way, I think it's so funny when people start off these videos with, you know, you don't always have to eat the whole thing. It's like, oh my, I don't? Where have you been all my life?
Even if it's a special fun food, you don't have it very often, you don't need to eat to the point where you're getting to that extreme uncomfortable fullness. You can save some for later. I'm bagging up the rest of my birthday cake. I'm putting it in the freezer so that I can enjoy it later when I want it. I love freezing stuff because I know I'm going to want some of this later, but like, I've already had 2 or 3 pieces over the past week. And like, that's enough for me. I'm caked out, you know? I know a lot of my clients struggle with that feeling of like lack of control over these certain fun foods. A little experiment I would have you do if you're up for it is to get one of these fun foods. Maybe it's cake, maybe it's cookies, maybe it's takeout, right? Eating half of it and then saving the rest for later. And maybe that means that we pair it with something else, like we have a veggie side dish at home that we're eating with it too. Or we have a glass of milk with a slice of cake to fill us up a little bit, and we only have half of the piece of cake.
Girl, I've never had a slice of cake without a glass of milk. I am that mouse that if you give her a cookie, she will ask for a glass of milk. So one thing that stood out about this to me is that I really love cake. Like, cake is one of those things that if you have a cake at your birthday party, I will probably eat 2 pieces of it. And then when people inevitably leave their icing on their plate, because for some reason people think it's too much icing all the time, and I never think it's enough icing, I will ask to finish your icing, and it will all be gone by the end of the celebration. So for me, cake is one of those things that is hard to moderate, and I don't know exactly why, other than I just think cake is the most amazing thing on the face of the earth. And I don't completely dislike her advice here. Like, I think freezing some of your cake and saving it for another time, or let's be honest, you'll probably end up just forgetting about it, is a good strategy. And I don't think that anybody should torture themselves by leaving their birthday cake out for days and having it call out to them, like that food noise that we were talking about. Like, I think putting it in the freezer and putting it out of sight is actually a good strategy. But once again, it is so overly simplistic and honestly a little bit condescending to frame this as a, like, did you know that you actually don't need to eat your whole birthday cake? I mean, mind blown. I just hate this type of advice because it's like, yeah, we know that no one is holding a GUN to our head and telling us to finish the cake, but that's why it's food noise. It's like this pervasive thought, and like sometimes we need to throw it away, or like we can't keep it in the house. And is it something that we could eventually work towards? Yes. But if you have weight loss goals, like if you're in a much larger body and it's imperative that you lose weight, it doesn't make you a weak person to eliminate some of the temptations and some of the distractions from your immediate vicinity for the time being. But clearly, you know, she's not giving weight loss tips because she doesn't believe in weight loss. She believes in listening to your inner wisdom. It's just that not everybody has that inner wisdom. And it could take years to build up that inner wisdom. And in that time, you could develop some really bad health situations. So I think, sometimes we need an immediate intervention, and the reframing or the relearning how to listen to our bodies, that can come later. So that's it for freezing the cake.
They're not going to grow. Yep.
Okay, this one, I'm dying to hear all of your takes on this. So this is a stitch that she did with this man whose account is the LA Booty Builder. So I assume he is a personal trainer who specializes in helping women grow their glutes, which is definitely a thing that many women want. And I could see that being profitable for a personal trainer. So this woman wants to grow her glutes, but she doesn't want to grow her legs. So he's measuring her legs and measuring her glutes and seeing what exercises they can do to optimize glute growth without growing the quads, I assume.
These are 5 exercises she's going to be doing the most to grow the booty, not the legs.
Chat, we are so fucked. Try not to cover up this guy's face because I feel like he needs to be seen. We've been taught that the only value in going to the gym is making your body look a certain way. We've been taught that the only value of eating healthy is to be a certain size. Our society places so much emphasis on utilizing specific tools that should be used to impact our health in a positive way, simply to conform to fit this arbitrarily chosen standard of beauty, which I don't think is a standard. I think it's an extreme. What's crazy is exercise actually becomes fun when you stop focusing on going to the gym just for that external validation of, okay, it might make me look a certain way in the future. When you start actually going for reasons like, how does it make me feel? How do my energy levels feel? How is my mood after? How is my sleep? These markers can all improve drastically just from something as simple like exercising, which our bodies naturally love. When you're exercising only to look a specific way and you're not eating enough, that all sucks. It's not sustainable. It causes health issues. Even if you don't have any symptoms right now, you may have issues down the line. I'm Jess. I have a master's in nutritional science. My Roman Empire is that a large portion of our economy relies on you hating yourself. Diet culture is a big part of that. It teaches us what not to eat or how to restrict just to make ourselves smaller, instead of actually teaching us how to eat, to nourish ourselves, have energy, and promote long-term health.
I just want to interrupt by saying none of this reel had anything to do with eating or nutrition. Like, her bringing this up feels like such a tangent. Like, it feels like it came completely out of left field, because this is fitness content, which is sometimes connected to how you eat. And, you will see fitness content that tells you how to eat to optimize certain things, but that's not this. This is just about exercising. So I don't know why she's bringing food into this, but I also wanted to say, I don't think it's helpful to frame this as if everybody who goes to the gym wants to build their glutes and not their legs, or all women who exercise want this outcome. I do think some women want this outcome, and I will volunteer myself. When I started my weightlifting journey, I was intentionally doing more glute exercises and less dedicated quad exercises. Like, I don't do a dedicated quad focused day. I really focus more on glutes because that's what I'm trying to build, and I will naturally grow my quads from doing certain compound exercises. So I don't know why she's framing it like that's a bad thing. I guess it's because it's primarily for aesthetics. But listen, if you're going to the gym and you're lifting weights because you want to achieve a certain aesthetic, why is that a bad reason? I just don't know why we have to police each other and say, this is a good reason for wanting to work out, this is not a good reason for wanting to work out. or to police the type of fun that we are allowed to have at the gym. Like she's saying, exercise is way more fun when you don't focus on a certain outcome. But I have actually experienced the opposite. I think that weightlifting can be really fun and really empowering because it teaches you that certain things, certain outcomes are in your control. And if you lift heavy and you focus on certain muscle groups, you will see an aesthetic change. And the work that you put in is directly proportionate to the results that you will see. And that is an amazing thing to experience. And it's really incredibly fun. So I don't know why we're policing what we're allowed to find fun about working out or what we can derive enjoyment from, because everybody's different. Some people do just want to go to the gym and move around and focus on the endorphins that they get from that. And that's wonderful. That's great. But there are also people who are very focused on achieving a certain aesthetic goal. And that's what keeps them coming back week after week. That's what keeps them in progressive overload. That's what keeps them focused on lifting heavier and heavier. And that's also great. So I don't like any of this type of content where we're talking down to women who want to build their glutes or want to snatch their waist or whatever it may be. I agree that shouldn't be the only focus, but I also think it can be really fun and empowering to actually set a goal and to achieve that goal, even if it is purely aesthetic. Let's see if she has anything else to say.
If you want to learn these things, follow along for more realistic nutrition tips and busting of diet myths.
Yeah, so I get that she, is trying to go viral and she's trying to be a little bit abrasive here. But I just don't think it's warranted. She even said, I'm showing this guy's face because I think he needs to be exposed. I'm pretty sure this is his account. Like, he is the LA booty builder. He wants visibility. He wants to market himself to women who want to grow their glutes. Like, because that is a market. And honestly, it's a very smart niche to try to fit into if you can manage it. I didn't think that this was toxic or harmful, but I would love to hear what you guys think about this one in particular.
Like pasta as a dinner?
This says diet culture necessitates gaslighting. And this is a woman dipping penne pasta into granulated sugar.
You do this? Oh my gosh, this is like heaven.
One of my biggest problems with diet culture is that it necessitates us gaslighting ourselves, teaching us to distrust our natural hunger and fullness cues, not listen to our wants and desires when we're in the mood for something. It literally has us gaslighting ourselves into thinking that sugar on a cooked pasta noodle is a tasty treat, right? I knew immediately that when I saw this video, and within 2 seconds, I knew, okay, this woman is restricting her food intake.
You know what's funny? I saw this original video before I saw this stitch, and I scrolled right past it. But I remember thinking, that's fucking weird. I definitely thought, okay, that's wacky, but okay. It didn't seem to me to be like a diet culture rebound type of thing or like a hinge eating episode or anything like that. To me, it just seemed like somebody who was trying to get attention by putting a weird food combination together. And listen, we all have our weird food combos that we enjoy that some people would think is disgusting. For me, it's peanut butter and pickles. I love peanut butter and pickles, but I can totally accept that some people would gag at the sight of it, and that's okay, Penne pasta in sugar, I actually have seen way weirder combinations, primarily from the fitness community when they're trying to keep things like low calorie, high volume. They'll make these concoctions that I think are so whacked out. But just a penne pasta noodle in some sugar, It's not the weirdest thing I've ever seen. If you've ever had a noodle kugel, a sweet pasta noodle, it's not that far-fetched. If you like your penne pasta noodles dipped in sugar, I would love for you to chime in the comment section, because it's not something I'd ever seen before, and it is a little weird, but again, I've seen stranger things on the internet.
She's restricting likely sugary foods. Somebody who has a good relationship with food and is eating sweet treats naturally once in a while when they're in the mood for it is not going to be enjoying something like this. And then immediately I look into the caption and she basically says that, I don't know how she phrases it, but she says like, I eat good, or like I eat the right way most of the time, but then once in a while I have let myself indulge. And
well, I feel like if she is letting herself indulge in this, and this is like her cheat food, it's probably something that she actually likes. Like, you're right. Like, as a sweet treat, it's a very bizarre choice, but it's not really that different from just having like a Sour Patch Kid or, like a gummy or something. Like, and I think if she wanted that, wouldn't she just have that? I don't know. Like, I think this woman might really like a penne pasta noodle dipped in sugar.
I'm like, lady, this is not an indulgence. This is just wacky. Next thing you know, we're going to be railing lines of sugar or putting it up our butt. What's next? I help women overcome disordered eating. Whether you're struggling with restriction or overeating, both sides of the spectrum, go to the link in my bio to fill out an application to work.
Okay, once again, dipping pasta in sugar, it's a little wacky. It is. But it's not the same as boofing a line of sugar up the butt. Like, I get she's exaggerating, but come on now.
When are we going to start suing influencers that give us eating disorders?
So this is a stitch that she did with that clip of Gwyneth Paltrow on the Today Show that was everywhere. I didn't talk about this because I honestly, didn't have it in me to talk about it at the time, but now we're talking about it. So Gwyneth Paltrow was making this recipe on the Today Show, and as you can see, or as you will see, she added Parmesan cheese to the recipe. But then she made a point of saying if you're avoiding dairy, you can also just chop up some arugula, and it kind of creates a similar texture, which that actually makes a lot of sense to me. I would probably go for nuts before arugula, but maybe she's also trying to make it nut-free. See, I don't see this and get immediately triggered by the dairy-free of it all, because I think she's just trying to accommodate people that might be dairy-free who want to make the recipe. I don't think it's necessarily a toxic piece of advice that she was giving. And I will say, we can criticize Gwyneth Paltrow for plenty of other things. Like, I'm not saying she's never given toxic health advice on the internet, but I didn't think there was really anything wrong with this.
Class action against Gwyneth, anyone? Because apparently that's the only way things change around here in this capitalistic hellscape. I'm Jess. I have a master's in nutritional science. One of the things I hate most about diet culture is that it necessitates us gaslighting ourselves, teaching ourselves to distrust our natural hunger and fullness cues, and convincing ourselves that we like shitty-ass diet foods. For example, fucking arugula.
Arugula is a shitty diet food now? I thought arugula was just a great leafy green that we all should be eating. Or, some variation of a leafy green. Like, now, if we add anything healthy to a recipe, now it's like diet culture, I think we're reading too much into it.
Instead of just dairy. Science tells us cutting entire food groups out of your diet can actually cause gut issues. Did anyone develop IBS after listening to Gwyneth's advice to cut out gluten or dairy out of their diet? I sense a lawsuit there.
I agree that you do not need to cut out dairy for no reason, but if you have lactose intolerance or some other issue that you cannot eat dairy, then I think it's very helpful to know about certain substitutions. Honestly, I think it was nice of Gwyneth to suggest that.
Any reasonable dietitian wouldn't just have you cut something out of your diet without listening to your symptoms, looking at a holistic view of your health, and weighing the pros and cons. Anyone get liver or kidney damage after taking a supplement that she recommended? Oh, let's talk about it in the comments.
Yeah, and I will reiterate, Gwyneth has done some questionable things in the realm of health and wellness that I'm not going to get into right now, but I didn't see a problem with this at all. And I would also love to know what you guys think about this.
Any other egregious offenders other than Gwyneth, Liv Schmidt, Freely the Banana Girl that you want to talk about in the comments so we can...
Okay, but Freely the Banana Girl literally advises against eating anything but fruit. Like, this isn't that extreme. She's not blending up 12 bananas with 7 apricots and 5 peaches and calling it breakfast. Like, come on. We know the difference between the two.
Shed some light upon these harmful, restrictive behaviors that they're perpetuating. That's it. Follow along for more realistic nutrition tips, busting of diet myths, and remember, go eat some carbs.
I thought we were talking about dairy, but okay.
This is why I do not use oil or butter.
This says Mother does not know best. So this is a creator that does a lot of cooking content, and I believe it's cooking for her family, like cooking healthy meals for her family. And here it looks like she is just steaming some vegetables, or boiling some vegetables rather. And she says she doesn't use oil or butter.
Any of my meals, everything will cook in its perfect form. Everything will flavor in its perfect natural form.
Yet another creator spreading her disordered eating habits online.
Yeah, it says no oil, no butter, just clean meal. So I'm not chill with the concept of clean eating because I think everybody has a different definition. I don't think adding oil or butter to your vegetables to cook them makes it unclean. And I think that language is not the best. So I will agree with her on that. But I also don't think that boiling your vegetables or steaming them is necessarily perpetuating E to the D's or promoting DIS ordered behavior.
Trying to pass them off as goals, and I feel like she's not even hiding it. No oil, no butter. Okay, first of all, fat is one of the 6 essential nutrients. Your body needs it to literally function. Your hormones are going to get messed up if you're not eating enough fat.
You can also get fat from other sources, though. Like, I think sometimes people avoid the butter because they're avoiding saturated fats, but they'll have avocado or avocado oil or, like sources of unsaturated fats. Oh, and just a disclaimer, I am not a doctor or a dietitian, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I think that is one reason why somebody might be avoiding butter, but that doesn't necessarily mean they avoid all fats.
I've been seeing this woman who calls herself Mother go online, cook with basically just like vegetables and water. I mean, she eats a few other types of foods that I've seen, like avocados. Okay, we're getting in a little bit of fat. That's good. Fish. Okay. But all in all, this is a very restrictive diet. Comment for me, okay?
Do you guys think that eating vegetables or cooking your vegetables without oil or butter is inherently reductive? Like, do you agree with that take? I don't know. I mean, I honestly, usually when I cook vegetables, well, sometimes I will roast them in the oven, so I'll use olive oil, but I often like to eat them raw or I'll steam them because I like the taste of the vegetable. If you cook it in butter, then you will get that buttery taste, which, don't get me wrong, it's delicious, but sometimes I do feel good just like eating vegetables and really absorbing that taste. Like, I'm looking at that carrot right now, actually, and I feel like it looks good. Am I crazy? I feel like I ask you guys in every single video if I'm crazy or if I sound crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think if this woman was terrified of butter and oil and never allowed herself any amount of it and wouldn't go eat at friends' houses because she wasn't sure how they prepared their vegetables, or wouldn't ever go out to eat because she doesn't know if they cook it in butter. Like, that to me would be getting into obsessive territory, but you can cook however you want at home. And I actually think keeping meals very simple and as few ingredients as possible at home is a pretty good strategy if you are somebody who likes to go out and not necessarily think about how you're going to moderate your food intake.
I can take it. I'm Jess. I have a master's in nutritional science, and I'm used to people getting mad at me when I call out disordered eating, but here's the thing. Disordered eating is basically any restrictive or inflexible eating patterns. So this is disordered as evidenced by what she fucking writes right here. No oil, no butter.
Well, she's saying she cooks it without oil or butter, but we are taking a leap by saying that it's a rule or that it's not flexible. Like, you're kind of just assuming that she's not flexible or that she can never eat her vegetables with any kind of fat, right? Like, she's making assumptions here, unless she is way more familiar with this person's account than I am.
Just clean meal. Also, just because something is in its more original form doesn't mean it's healthier. When we were cavemen and before we had cooking, we ate raw fruits and vegetables all the time, okay? But how long did we live? Also, a lot of ultra-processed foods can actually help fill in nutrient gaps and help prevent nutrient deficiency and disease.
Is she suggesting that people used to pass away earlier because they ate raw vegetables? Like, because we didn't have butter? I mean, I don't think that's actually what she's saying, but it was kind of implied there. Like, well, we used to only eat raw vegetables, but we died at age 40, Like, okay, all right. Well, that was kind of a leap.
Packaged convenient foods, frozen, canned, these foods are all extremely healthful and should be included as a part of a well-balanced diet. Oh, but she's thin and beautiful, so she must know what she's talking about, right? Get the fuck out of here.
I sense a little bit of judgment and more than a little bit of resentment for the fact that this woman presents herself a certain way. And that's something that I really don't like when I see that, like when things start getting a little bit catty, like, oh, well, she's thin and pretty, so I guess her advice must be good. Like, all right. I mean, did anybody actually say that, or are you making more assumptions on top of your other assumptions that you've already made? Like, come on, lady. Let's move on, shall we?
This is fast food. Banana, lettuce.
I saw this reel in its original form also, and this was another one that I was like, all right, and I scrolled past it. This woman said that she forgot to pack her lunch for work, and she could have run out to get fast food, but instead she got her version of fast food, which was just running to the grocery store and getting, I think, well, this was a banana, a head of lettuce. I think there's a sweet potato in there. So, like, she was trying to be cute. Like, she was saying, like, this is my fast food. Like, I got it really fast and I'm eating it really fast. So anyway, let's see what Jess has to say.
Wrap it.
Oh my God. This is a really common trend that I'm seeing online right now, is this clean eating, or like foods in their as close to natural form as possible. So you're eating a diet that looks healthy, mostly whole, minimally processed foods, but this can still result in health problems because this is restrictive. Therefore, it can result in nutrient deficiencies. And I know this banana wrapped in lettuce isn't good.
Nutrient deficiencies. This was just one midday meal. Like, if you watch the original video, she forgot to pack her lunch. So she didn't want to go to the fast food options that were available to her. So she's eating some fruits and veggies. I don't think it necessarily means that this is what she's eating all the time, because that would be unhealthy. I would agree with that. Like, that's not really A head of lettuce and a banana and a sweet potato is not the most well-rounded meal. So she shouldn't be eating that for lunch every single day. But for one day to tide her over until the end of work, like, you're not going to get nutrient deficiencies from one day.
Don't lie to me. And while it appears healthy, it's not much different than somebody who just eats white bread or who eats like chicken nuggets for every single meal.
It is totally different from somebody who eats white bread exclusively. Are you out of your mind? That Japanese sweet potato and the banana and the lettuce, to a certain degree, has more vitamins and more nutrition, and also will keep you more satiated for longer than if you just had a few slices of white bread. So no, it's not the same. And please, do not tell me that this woman is as unhealthy as somebody who eats chicken nuggets for every meal. That is ridiculous.
It's restrictive. It's not nutritionally complete. We need protein, carbs, fats, and fiber at most of our meals.
She's right. It's not nutritionally complete. But I don't think that was the goal here. I think the goal was just to get some sustenance because there weren't a lot of good options around.
This meal that she ate only had around 300 calories, 9 grams of protein, and like 1 gram of fat. That's not enough protein or fat to keep you full, to give your energy, and to sustain all of your bodily processes that need to happen.
Totally. She could have gotten maybe some hard-boiled eggs if there was like a deli. I mean, clearly she stopped at a grocery store. So yeah, there would have been some options for protein, even a protein shake or something. But she didn't do that, okay? And it's not the end of the world that she didn't do that.
To make you a functioning person. I really like the My Plate diagram. It's an example of how to build a balanced meal. So you can still have a fast meal that is balanced while not putting that much effort into it. I personally have one of those metal lunch boxes that has different compartments. I build what I like to call a snacky lunch. So I'll have a little bit of chips, I'll have some nuts, I'll have some cheese, I'll have some fruit.
She clearly didn't pay attention to the video. I'm realizing now because she's saying, you know, I have this really cool lunch box that has different compartments. But it's like, that's the whole point. This woman forgot her lunch. She didn't bring her lunch box to work. That's the whole reason why she went to the grocery store and picked up some fresh food.
And something else, right? A little sweet treat, for example. So I get all my food groups in there and I can snack throughout the day. And then I also will bring a couple pieces of fruit to snack on additionally in my lunchbox. And maybe a protein bar. Just because a food is minimally processed does not make it more nutrient dense than a more processed food. In fact, many ultra-processed foods are fortified with vitamins and minerals to promote health and prevent nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah, it's still better to ingest your vitamins from actual natural sources. Like, I kind of think of it in the same way as it's slightly better to get vitamin D from sunlight than it is from a vitamin D supplement. Like, it just is. And obviously that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take the supplement if you need it, of course, but that doesn't mean that it's the same. And there could be differing opinions about that, but I personally try to get most of my vitamins and minerals from the actual food that I eat, not like trusting that somebody sprayed it on my Frosted Flakes. This says no because I will never get over the way people argue with dietitians online. Would you tell your accountant they're doing their job wrong? Well, first of all, this is funny because I am in the process of judging her content right now. But this is all I'm going to say in response to this question about would I tell my accountant that they're doing their job wrong? If my accountant was giving me some fuck-ass advice, like don't track any of your spending, if you like going to Starbucks twice a day and wasting $7 on a drink every time you go, then go for it, queen. If my accountant was telling me things like that, things that I know are financially unwise, then yeah, I would critique them. I would question their approach. I don't think that just because somebody is a professional at something that you can't ever critique them or question their approach or seek a different method elsewhere. Like that's just so strange to say, in my humble opinion.
But pay attention to how the food makes you feel, right? Oh, absolutely. And this Big Mac just breathed the life back into me. I feel absolutely rejuvenated. I'm Jess. I have a master's in nutritional science. I feel like sometimes that argument is like used as a way to convince people to stay away from the bad foods, right? Pay attention to how you feel after you eat the food. Do you feel good after you eat a Big Mac or a sundae or whatever? And here's the thing. Once you heal your relationship with food, you realize that there is absolutely a time and place for all different types of foods, right? Even the ultra-processed ones. I went to the beach. I had so much fun. My friend said she's getting McDonald's, and I was like, oh my God, brilliant idea. So I went and got a Big Mac. I haven't had one in years, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
She just admitted that she hasn't had it in years. I just wanted to point that out because saying there's a time and a place for ultra-processed foods, I don't disagree. I think those foods are fine to have once in a while, which is what she's doing here. She said it's been years since she had a Big Mac. But that means something completely different to the person who is stopping at McDonald's twice a day.
And I feel wonderful now. I also had a Diet Coke. The point is, a lot of the times we're so disconnected with our bodies, right? Because diet culture teaches us how to restrict, how to constantly deprive ourselves of what we actually need, as opposed.
You don't need McDonald's, though. Like, me depriving myself of McDonald's is not me depriving myself of stuff that I need. I don't need that.
To how to just make sure that you're getting enough nutrients, getting enough food, right? I ate like the entire Big Mac. I only ate a handful of fries, right? I didn't feel the need because I didn't feel guilty about getting this meal. I didn't feel the need to overeat.
Once again, she's implying that the only reason why you would need or feel the need to finish all of your food is because you felt guilty for eating it. There's no other reason. There's no chemical process. There's nothing that happens with your dopamine. There's no hyper controlled fat to salt to sugar ratio that keeps you going back for more and yet not feeling satisfied. No, none of that exists. It's just because you feel like a bad girl for eating it.
I actually just stopped eating when I was full. And that's the thing, too, about incorporating these more hyper-palatable, higher-calorie foods is when you are in touch with your body's natural signals, you can know when to stop eating. So it's not like I'm eating that many more calories than I would in a typical meal.
I disagree because just because something is higher calorie doesn't mean that it is more satiating. Like, she's basically saying, okay, yeah, like the French fries have more calories than your side salad that you would make at home, but you would naturally stop eating them sooner because they are more calorie dense. So like you'll feel your fullness. But that's not how it works. Like just because something is more calorie dense doesn't mean that it's actually going to satisfy you more. And that's why a lot of people like to do the volume eating thing, because it actually makes them feel physically full while providing the same amount of calories as something that they would typically eat that's a smaller amount. So I disagree with this premise entirely.
Anyways, just wanted to share that. I'm super sweaty. I'm going to go shower. If you're eating too much fast food and you want to work on that, this is something that my clients have struggled with. Sometimes it looks like doing little different psychological tips and tricks to hack our way into not thinking of fast food is bad per se, because when we say something is bad and when we say we're not going to have it, we actually end up thinking about that thing more and overeating it more.
Not when you're breaking your addiction to fast food. Like, I think you will think about it and obsess about it for a little while, and then eventually you will, I don't love this word, but you will detox from it and you will not crave it as much.
So if you're trying to avoid something, like if you're trying to avoid fast food, what you might end up happening is you avoid it, but then when you eat so much to the point where you feel sick. Well, one way that we can work on this is actually by eating fast food a little bit more regularly. Isn't that?
That's crazy. That just, oh my God. I need to take a walk. Whoo, baby.
That crazy? I know
it is crazy. It is crazy to tell people that they should be eating fast food more often. I don't care what your intention is. Why are you putting that out on the internet? Like, why are you inviting people to feel okay to get McDonald's multiple times a week? What is wrong with you?
a shocker, but it works, seriously. Anyway, that's it. Bye. Follow along for.
I just can't, dude. Guys, I hate it here. I really hate it here. Like, every day I'm on Instagram and I see this type of content and I'm just like, I'm going to start screaming into my pillow. I heard that that's a therapeutic thing that people do when they get heated. Okay, this is the last one we're going to do.
No, girl, you don't need to lock in. You need to work on your relationship with your body, learn to eat actually well-balanced meals, and decenter diet culture, the extreme patriarchal beauty standards set by men who are attracted to children.
Okay. I want to be clear. I don't fully disagree with what she's saying. I think that if you have a DIS-ordered relationship with food or your body, you should seek the help of a mental health professional. You should work on it. You should figure out what it's connected to. Is it connected to trauma? Is it connected to anxiety? Is it connected to low self-esteem? And I think that we all can work on this, but I think that is separate, or it can be separate from your goals that you might have for the summer, for example. Oh, I want to build some more muscle before summer. I want to drop 5 pounds before summer. I mean, I say all of this, but we are already in the month of June. I think this was posted about a month ago. So we're in the month of June. You're not going to drastically change your body for summer because we're pretty much already there. So definitely don't misunderstand that. It's too late. We're already here. But the concept of locking in, I think it's helpful to people. They give themselves a certain amount of time to reach a goal and they hyper focus on that goal. I think locking in can also be great for people who are neurodivergent, people who have ADHD, to be able to say, okay, I am going balls to the walls on this particular goal. I am locking in. I am zoning in on this one thing. And I'm going to make sure that all of my shit is together for the next 6 weeks. And that's what I'm doing. And I think it can be very helpful. Do I think that it should be this rigid thing where if you mess up, then you're mean to yourself or you punish yourself? Absolutely not. But let's not talk down to people who are hyper-focused on their goals, because I think it's something that more people could actually benefit from setting short-term achievable goals and actually taking the steps to reach those goals. It is a very empowering feeling.
Learn to eat actually well-balanced meals and decenter diet culture, the extreme patriarchal beauty standards set by men who are attracted to children.
But, oh my God. First of all, who said anything about beauty standards? Like, maybe somebody wants to lose 20 pounds because they're 20 pounds overweight. And when they walk, they breathe heavy. That has nothing to do with beauty standards. So that's like something that I generally hate, is when we lump in all weight loss goals or all fitness goals with the beauty standard, or that we say that that's the secret intention behind all weight loss goals, because it's absolutely not. I hear from people in my comment section and otherwise every single day, people that decided to lose weight because they needed to overhaul their lives, and their lives vastly improved in that process. So it's not always to do with beauty standards. And also, separate from that, can we leave the PDFs out of it? Because wanting to lose weight does not mean that you are being compliant with PDF files. I don't know where this came from. I think people just have Epstein on the brain, and as humans, we try to draw connections and see patterns in things, even when they might not necessarily be there. It's something that is inherent to our survival. We look for patterns. So I think, you hear talk of fascism, or you hear talk of pedophilia. I'm trying to be careful about my language. And I don't know if that pronunciation was me actually being careful or not. But anyway, let's leave the PDF files out of it. It really annoys me. It also annoys me because you're basically implying that somebody who looks like me, who is relatively thin, who doesn't have large breasts, who is fairly straight-bodied up and down, you're saying that I look like a child? I'm a grown-ass woman. I don't think I look like a child. That is all I have for you today, you guys. I would love to hear what you think about Jess Baker Nutrition, if you've come across her content before, and if there are other anti-diet dietitians or nutritionists or therapists or personal trainers that you would like me to do a deep dive on. Please leave a comment below, or you can email me at emmybrooklynbaby@gmail.com. And if you made it this far, you guys, leave a French fries emoji, because this chick loves her fast food. But don't worry, she doesn't finish the fries because she's actually in touch with her body's wants and needs. Good for her. So that is it. That is all. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.